don't you want?
Hello everyone, my name is David Clarke and I'm one of the tutors here at Point Blank, or not here, in London, and I specialise in the DJ and the Traktor side. Today we're going to be talking about stems. So stems are essentially 5 tracks that have been condensed into an MP4 file. You've got your master, and then you have your 4 single ones, so whether it be drums, vocals, guitars, and bass. And you can do it whatever you want. You can have synths, you can have whatever you want to do. So I'm going to give you an example. I've got a song here from Estelle. Thank you very much for supplying it. And I'm going to show you certain things, which basically is different from EQing. What you can do is you can EQ off a frequency, for instance, low frequency, and replace it with a kick drum of somewhere else. However, this is not like that because EQs do not take off your frequencies completely. They actually just lower them, whereas stems are going to be completely 100% cut. Okay? So for instance, if I play this. Okay, so I've got on here the drums, the bass, the melody, and the vox. Okay? So if I take off the drums. I can take the vocals off. Okay, and make it completely instrumental straight away. Or what I've always wanted is just a cappella whenever I want. Okay, that is actually incredible to me because why use it? Well, it's a live mashup basically with the fact that you've got stems and you've got some capability in Traktor with remix decks. It's absolutely incredible. So you can do a live mashup on the fly. I could take a song, for instance, this. Now, bear in mind, I haven't matched this melody-wise, but I can take the drums out of this, okay? So I'm now playing 2 songs, completely unique, and no one's ever heard that before. It's really quite fantastic, and I'm going to show you how to make your own stems. So I've got on this deck here, I Want Your Rhythm, Estelle. So I'm going to show you how to make that into a stem using Ableton. Now you can do this in Logic, you can do this in any other DAW you want, but I use Ableton, so I'm going to do it in Ableton. What we've got here is a song that has been made, loads of different sections, loads of different tracks. So I've got the vocals, bass, drums, all the sorts of stuff, and they've all been mixed and exactly how the person wants it, okay? So what I've then done is I've grouped them. So I've taken all the vocals and I've put them together and I've called them V1s, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've taken all the bass and called them same, melody for M and drums for Ds, okay? Now again, you can make this whatever you want. If you wanted, I don't know, one drum track, you could have just bass drums, just snare drums, just hi-hats and just extra bits if you wanted to. But I've done this, which I think will work. Once you've done that, you need to bounce that as a normal track. However the song was intended with mastering and everything, you bounce that as that, okay? That's 1 stem, and you need 5, okay? So the second one is I personally, and there's other ways around to do this, is I mute all the non-vocals, for instance, and then I will bounce the master again, and then you've got all vocals. Then again, I'll mute them, unmute the bass drum, etc., okay? So you end up with 5. Now, you'll end up, that looks like this. Okay, so you've got your master, you've got your drums, you've got your bass, your melody, and your vocals. Now I put them back into this because it's really important to make sure that they're all in line. Okay, so if you go to the beginning of the track, you want to make sure that they are perfect because I understand if they're not in line, you're going to have some problems. I just put them back into Ableton to make sure they all look pretty good to me. There's your bass drum, there's your bass there, and together it looks like that. Fantastic. So now you've got your 5 stems. So what do you do now? You will then have them into a folder, okay? You will have your bass, your drums, your master, your melody, and your vocals. Then what you do is you get this little stem creator, which is fantastic. This is from www.stems-music.com, which is part of NI. And it is really simple to use, so simple that I'm doing a talk on it now at BPM. So what we do is we will take the bass, and drag it into the bass, master, into the master file, vocals, melody into the synths, and the drums into there. Now you can double click on this and rename that melody. You can rename it whatever you want. So that's the first thing you do. When you download the Stems Creator file, what you will do is you will also get templates for the stems. I don't know if anyone's seen the stems, but you'll see the word stems written on it. Okay, on the up here, see where my mouse is there? It's got that word stems on. And you'll actually get that as part of it, so you can make your own in Photoshop or, you know, Paint, which is what I use, because I don't use Photoshop. And then what you can do is you can make your own file, which looks like that, okay? Then I'll drag that into the cover art. Then I'll name it exactly like I want to, track, artist, release, everything like that, okay? Then we come down to the important part. We come down to dynamics. Now, obviously, a master file is going to be compressed. Everything's going to be there, so it's going to be louder than the individual files. So what you need to do is you need to compare them. Now, this isn't 100% science, okay? But it is really important that you give it a go. So what I do is if I play this, now the music is routed through this, so you won't hear it, but you will see that this comes up. Now, what you do is you mix between the two. So, for instance, the master file will look like that. What you might need to do is drop your threshold, okay, bring up your ceiling on both. So you go flick between the stems mix, okay, you flick between the master, okay, and basically what you're trying to do is match the master outputs to the stem outputs, okay, because that will make a noticeable difference on when you play them out loud, okay. So once you've done all this, and you've got your wet dries, your outputs and inputs here, okay, once you've done all that, you export it. And I delete that. And it will turn up into a master.stem.mp4. So inside there are all 5 of your files. And then all you do is you will drag it into your Traktor. So you will literally take that and you can just drag it into there. Okay, I'm not going to because I've sorted out all my cues. And then all of a sudden you've created your own stem. Now, you can do that for anything you want, for any of your songs, if you've got permission, anyone else's songs, and you've managed to got the stems, okay? And one thing to notice, obviously it looks like a waveform here. Obviously it is a waveform, but it looks like one. Now that is because you will be able to play this on iTunes, you'll be able to play this as a normal song, any way you want. Yes, it's larger, but you think about it, you've got to the power of 5 really pushing it all up, so it's going to sound wicked anyway, as long as you've mastered your songs properly. So in there, you can see one file, okay? But if you keep over here, you will see that they're split. So once you see that you've got a waveform here, if you then use the toggle switch, then you've got your drums, your bass, your melody, and your vox, okay? And you can then zoom in and out whichever way you want. But you treat this, even though it looks like 4 files, which it is, you treat it as one file and you can do whatever you want with it. You can scratch with it, you can loop it, but the good thing is you can assign single effects to him as well. So for instance, and I've got my filter. I can just assign a filter to one. Again, with the effects, I can have the effect sends on. I can have them completely off. Every vocalist likes reverb, so we could put reverb on, but I'll put a delay on just to show you. So you can assign effects to each individual one. Like I said, you can still loop it. You can get your stem files from Juno Download, you can get them from Beatport Pro, you can get them from loads of different places, and they're around £1.94-ish, depending on where you go, the files and stuff. And considering a WAV in Beatport's about £1.10, I don't think it's massive difference for that. But it's so easy to make your own now. You can do whatever you want. Now, on the knife's edge here, that's actually, I don't know if you can see, but that's actually 175 BPM. It's actually a jungle track. But I've actually slowed it down to 125, which I think sounds wicked. So, and with how good the key lock is on this, you wouldn't know that that is. So you can change this the way you want. So you can remix the way you wanted to, you can change it, you can have your mates come with you, and you can do some scratching, you can do whatever setup you want. And the good thing is, if you notice, I've only got 2 USBs here, but I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things. The D2s have the powered hubs at the back, so everything's routing through my D2s. 1 USB's going through here, and then we've got 1 through there. From a DJ point of view, with the remix decks and the stems, it's really quite endless. And yes, you can do 4 decks and 4 stems on other products such as Ableton and DAWs and stuff like that. Well, you've got to think of all these producer DJs are doing the Ableton and everything now, and that's going to make it more accessible for the other DJs who can't do this sort of thing. So it's so simple to get someone just to bounce some tracks down, give you some stems, and you put them in. Now, it doesn't even have to be the same song. You could do remixes on the fly. I just think it's going to cover a lot of things that people haven't thought of. And I don't know about you, I mean, I'm getting on in age now, and I used to spend weeks digging out acapellas and instrumentals from songs. Now this is even better because now not only have I got the acapella, the instrumental, but I've also got the drum part and the bass part and the guitar part and all that kind of stuff. So really, it's just whatever you want.